In the next minute alone, there will be over 35,000 blockchain payments made across public chains and layer 2 networks. So if you're looking to build a blockchain-based payment solution, what do you actually need to know? Over the past year, we've tackled this question in a dozen episodes of On the Block by Espeo Software. Today, we've brought together the best advice and most important insights into one concise video.
Deloitte has called 2025 the year of payment stablecoins. I think there are three main reasons stablecoins are gaining traction right now. Very strong value proposition, growing enterprise adoption, and an evolving regulatory landscape. Let me explain. Stablecoins offer a rare blend of qualities that traditional fiat money and cryptocurrencies simply cannot deliver at the same time. On the one hand, their value stays steady because each token is pegged one-to-one to a fiat currency, such as the US dollar or the euro. And on the other hand, they allow you to settle transactions in literally seconds and not days. That is because it's digital and peer-to-peer. There isn't a correspondent bank chain across many time zones that operates only within given hours, in which they can handle these payments. The coin itself is a smart contract token, so developers can embed its functions inside other contracts. Therefore, tokens can move automatically when, for example, a cargo sensor signals that the product has been shipped, or when payroll software reaches a certain day of demand. That mix has real measurable benefits. Last year alone, users shifted about $5 trillion in stablecoins for everyday payments. For context, this is already over a third of Visa's global volume. If we include trading in the mix, stablecoin transfers jumped from roughly $6 trillion in 2023 to $22 trillion in 2024. Speed is only part of the appeal, because what matters just as much is the cost of these transactions. As I have already mentioned, traditional remittances often depend on a long relay of correspondent banks, money transfer operators, and card networks. Each is taking a cut for currency conversion, compliance checks, and settlement risk in every transaction that is made across borders. That relay is why the World Bank still clocks the global average fee for sending $200 at almost 7%, with many corridors pushing past 8 or even 10%. Stablecoin payouts scrap most of those middle layers.
We need to make a design choice. Let's talk through our choices for the coin itself. We have three options: adopt a public USDC, create a white label dollar token with Paxos, or mint our own fiat-backed coin. Let's examine these options. If we decide to adopt a public USDC on Stellar network, we will be able to settle the transaction in roughly 5 seconds. One transfer burns only a 100,000th of a lumen, which is about a fraction of a US cent. We also need to ensure liquidity. There can't be any delays on, for example, the salary day. Circulating USDC on Stellar sits near $151 million, about 0.25% of total USDC in issue. It has doubled in the past year, yet we must still keep buffers and monitor peaks. We also have to figure out a way to run custody. I suggest we go with Fireblocks. More than 2,000 institutions use its multi-party computation, and the platform has already secured over $10 trillion in digital asset transfers. That gives us bank-grade signing policies without building hardware security modules ourselves.
Tokenized deposits also differ from other forms of digital money. Unlike cryptocurrencies, which are often decentralized and unregulated, tokenized deposits are fully integrated into the banking system. They are issued by banks under strict regulatory oversight, ensuring they are as stable as the dollars or euros in your savings account. Yet their potential goes beyond being a digital version of cash.
These deposits are programmable, which means that, for example, you could execute transactions like supplier payments by triggering smart contract rules. Some compare tokenized deposits to stablecoins or CBDCs. These are not the same. Tokenized deposits work differently from stablecoins. When a payee transfers money to a recipient, the sending bank burns the tokens and the recipient bank mints them so they appear in the recipient's wallet. Are you thinking about building your own blockchain payment solution? With Espeo Software services, you get a partner that knows how to do it. We'll guide you through every step, including modeling flows, ensuring interoperability, embedding KYC and AML controls, and deploying rails that run 24/7 at a fraction of traditional costs. If you're serious about building payments on-chain, we'll help you do it right. To learn more, go to espeo.eu/blockchain. The first thing we do is spin up a wallet for every customer right inside the banking app. Fireblocks has a wallet as a service API. You call one endpoint during sign-up and it creates an MPC wallet in under a second. We will stick to that for our system. Customers will want to move money between their fiat account and on-chain USDC in seconds. So we need a cash bridge or an on and off ramp. We lean on a stellar anchor called SEP24. The anchor takes a push payment in dirhams, mints the matching amount of USDC, and drops it straight into that new wallet. The whole loop should execute in about 15 seconds. And if the user wants cash back into their fiat account, they hit withdraw, the anchor burns the USDC and pushes dirhams back over the payment platform. It is very important to make withdrawing just as fast as the top-up. If loading money is instant but withdrawing takes a day, your new users will not trust your solution as much as they could. Our conversation has for now been very technical, especially in relation to blockchain. Obviously, we do not need and do not want to scare users with crypto jargon. Therefore, we'll keep two balances on the dashboard. Available balance in, for example, dirhams and digital dollars in USDC. Behind the scenes, the app posts Fireblocks for wallet history and horizon for pending transactions. But the user just sees a normal ledger and a green tick when it settles. We want people to use this wallet for payments, that is the whole point. But how do we achieve it? The payment screen will look like in any other wallet app. The user picks a contact or scans a QR code. We reuse the phone number payment platforms like Ani already use and map that number to the person's stellar address. QR usage is exploding in the Gulf with year-to-year growth of more than 200%. So we will write on an existing habit. We will also add an optional memo field. Businesses need references, invoice numbers, VAT IDs, and notes for reconciliation. We will keep a 140-character memo off-chain, but link it to the transaction hash to satisfy business need without putting personal data on a public ledger.
To give merchants access, we need to integrate with Visa's and Mastercard's API. Visa already settles merchant acquirers in USDC on several chains and is expanding chain-agnostic support. Mastercard's crypto credentials maps blockchain addresses to aliases. Tapping those APIs lets a cafe accept USDC while still receiving dirhams overnight. Card scheme hooks matter because they turn our rail into spendable money, not just a P2P tool. Swift's 2023 tokenization pilot with UBS and Chainlink proved you can slip an on-chain transaction hash into a GPI message without breaking the Swift schema. A Swift GPI message is a standardized Swift MT message that includes additional tracking information. It allows financial institutions to track the payment in real time, even if it undergoes a currency exchange. We will take the hash horizon returns for every USDC transfer, embed it in the GPI payload, and our operations team will still see the familiar dashboard. Keeping GPI in play matters for two reasons: no retraining for staff and an unbroken audit trail for compliance reviewers who already rely on GPI end-to-end tracker. So we have covered personal, merchant, and cross-border payments. For regulators, it is also important to establish how we will settle systemically important payments.
Generally, Genius Act says what is stablecoin, and already now at the beginning, just to make sure that everybody understands, Genius Act addresses stable payments coins only, backed by traditional reserves. So Genius Act does not concern algorithmic stablecoin, does not really concern any kind of tokenized deposit, which might be held by US banks or other banks. It's just basically about issuing stable coins, stable payments coins that Agnieszka, me, or whoever can buy in order to purchase another smart coin, another coin which is issued on distributed ledger technology. And issuers are actually only companies who are licensed to issue stablecoin. And there might be banks or credit institutions which already exist in the US. It might be unlisted and trust banks, something which is very specific to the US legislation, Other issuers might be state-allowed banks, and somebody else who just simply has a license, which you may find an abbreviation also going through internet, which is called PPSI, is permitted payment stablecoin issuers. So important thing, in order to issue stablecoin in the US, one has to have a license. The stablecoin is only payments token, which is issued in digital form and does not concern any kind of algorithmic trading or something like that.
The technology must address both the needs of target users and the regulatory requirements. For decentralized, broad access stablecoins, Stellar is often the strongest option. It offers proven, low-cost settlement, fast finality, and a built-in ecosystem for cross-currency flows. For enterprise or regulated issuers, especially with dollar or euro-backed stablecoins, ARC presents an attractive path. Its design eliminates fee volatility, guarantees instant finality, and aligns governance with issuer needs. I recently noted on LinkedIn that ARC itself was conceived to address the enterprise concerns that public chains could not meet. For projects linked to banking consortia or aiming to replace correspondent banking, permission platforms like chains from Circle and Google may be the most suitable option. Concepts like Google's Universal Ledger or initiatives like Perture unlock atomic settlement of tokens pegged to fiat. There isn't one rail that fits every project. Ultimately, fintech funders should align their choice with their use cases.
Even if you think your work isn't groundbreaking, it could inspire someone else to unlock new possibilities and keep the momentum alive. That's how we turn hesitation into action.
Another interesting project connected to the European ledger is Project Agora, which focuses on improving cross-border payments. Traditionally, cross-border payments use a system called correspondent banking, where several banks act as intermediaries to move funds from one country to another. This system is slow, expensive, and often inefficient.
Agora's goal is to replace these intermediaries by creating a unified ledger. Instead of sending payment instructions through one system and moving the actual money separately, Agora uses DLT to make sure payment instructions and settlements happen at the same time on a single platform. This is called atomic settlement, where the transfer of funds and assets happens simultaneously, cutting out delays and reducing costs. Now, this idea of a unified ledger isn't just limited to Europe. The Bank of International Settlements, BIS, is working on a similar concept but with a global outlook.